Welcome to the Wealth Detective Podcast. Are you ready to become your own wealth detective, to find money in new ways and experience wealth like never before? Well, come along for some wild stories that will teach you, inspire you, maybe even shock you a little bit. And let's get ready to build wealth together. Hello, welcome back to the Wealth Detective Podcast. I'm Jamie Maddox, and I am so excited that you are here. And this is going to be kind of an interesting one, okay? Because I've had multiple experiences this week alone all about people realizing they can heal their body by being in tune with their body. And I'm like, yes, you can. Because here's the thing, sometimes I forget because it is part of my daily life and I help myself with it. I help my clients with it, and all these things are shifting. And I just sometimes forget that there's people in the world that don't know this. Okay, so let me start at the beginning. So a few days ago, I saw a post on Threads, which P.S. Threads is like the best social media platform out there. Just FYI, like it's just like a big friendly group chat. Okay, so like if you need a break from regular social media, go to Threads. It's kind of a vibe over there. Okay. Anyway, so I see this post, and I'm actually going to read the post to you, okay? Now, please don't zone out because there is a purpose in this, and I'll try to read it in a fun voice with inflection so that you're not bored, okay? So this was posted by, I'm going to say her name wrong because I don't actually know how to say her name, but Malanina.mentor, okay? Anyway, so this is where it is from on Threads, and that was posted on June 8th, I think. Okay, so here's what the post says. Doctors in Berlin observed a phenomenon. A woman who started talking to her body got rid of chronic illnesses, and here's what she said to her body every day. In 2019, Berlin's Charité Clinic took on a 47-year-old patient who felt entirely broken. For 12 years, she battled brutal migraines, IBS, insomnia, and joint pain. She saw 14 specialists, took 8 rounds of drugs, and had 3 MRIs. Nothing worked. Desperate, neurologist Gordon Grunwald placed her in an experimental group focused on interoception, the brain's ability to decode internal body signals. The protocol was shockingly simple. Twice a day, she spoke out loud to her organs. After 8 weeks, the results were staggering. Migraines dropped from 4 times a week to once a fortnight. IBS symptoms plummeted by 60%. Sleep latency went from 90 minutes to 20. Joint pain dropped 40%. The science. In chronic illness, the neurological feedback loop between brain and body snaps. When the brain stops hearing, quote unquote, baseline signals, it misinterprets them as active survival threats, triggering a cascade of pain and inflammation. Speaking aloud to your body directly fires up the insular cortex, the brain region governing visceral awareness. This helps the brain relearn body data without panicking. In 2020, Charité's study of 87 patients published in Frontiers in Neuroscience proved this 8-week protocol slashes chronic pain by 31 to 47% completely drug-free. How to start. Morning. Place a hand on your pain point. Say aloud, I feel you. What do you need? Listen for 30 seconds. In the evening, scan your body. Acknowledge each tense area out loud. Don't demand it stops hurting. Just tell it you noticed. In the morning, in bed, stomach, I feel you. What do you need right now? Head, I notice the temple pressure. I'll keep an eye on you today. The evening before bed. Gut, I saw you flare up after lunch. Tomorrow I'll try a new approach. Body, I'm not angry at you. This pain is just how you talk to me. Okay, so I read that and I was like, oh, I love when there's actually science to back the data of what I do, right? So I posted on this thread, I just said, hey, this is actually exactly what I do with my clients. I've healed multiple chronic issues. I've helped clients heal chronic pain. In fact, I have a whole podcast about it, okay? Now, I got like this is, I mean, small jumps for some people, but for me, it was a really big on Threads. I got like 30 new followers from that one comment. Okay. So if you're from that Threads post, welcome. I'm so glad you are here. And we're going to dig a little deeper into this, because what people don't realize is, because sometimes when you're talking to someone that has chronic illnesses and you're like, well, I have a different way, I have a different method. There's this sometimes a belief that we're negating the pain, or we're not validating the experience or the pain. And believe me, I was there for years. So like, I get it. Okay. But that's actually not what this is. It's actually the deeper, real validation of the pain. And that's why it works. Okay. Because for years, as people have been trying to get answers and been told they're crazy, they're being dismissed, like all these different things, that's actually where the real invalidation, because you actually start invalidating yourself and your own experience. Okay. And then your body is like, continues to scream, because it's like, I am not being heard. I need help. Something is not right. Okay. And so it gets louder and louder. You get worse and worse. And then you continue to be sick. Okay. There's also, oh man, I'm going to have to go look it up, but there's also a recent podcast episode about the same thing, which I'm loving that it's becoming a little more commonly talked about, but it was on Armchair Experts with Dax Shepard. It was sometime in the month of May. I'll have to go look up the scientist there. Anyway, but they did a whole episode on the same thing. Okay. And I'm like, thank you. Hallelujah. We need some science to back what has been working. For years, I dealt with chronic sinus infections, chronic sinus issues. I had a massive sinus surgery that put me out of work for multiple weeks and was horrific. Okay. One of the worst surgeries of my life was my sinus surgery. Okay. Every day, morning and night, I would do the NeilMed sinus rinse. And if you know, okay, it was awful. I was always working on getting my sinuses cleared, filling all this congestion, all these different things, always in sinus pain. I had allergies, especially in the, spring and summer, and I was always taking allergy meds. Okay, friends, I don't do any of that stuff. None of it. I don't have a NeilMed sinus rinse. I don't take any allergy medicine for pollens or anything. I literally don't have sinus issues. Okay. And this one thing is directly related to body mapping. Seriously, like and when I do body mapping sessions with people, this is usually the story that I tell them, because I'm like, really, if you put in the work, because this person, the post that I read about, I mean, they have to do the work. They have to talk to their body morning and night. They have to do the check-ins. They have to do the protocol. And it's not a one and done, okay? Because you got where you got without a one and done. Chronic illnesses don't just happen overnight. They're chronic. It takes time, okay? So the process to unravel them also takes a little bit of time and intention and energy. And that's the thing, because my sinus infections and sinus issues didn't go away overnight, but they have gone away within time. Okay. Was it worth it? Absolutely. Any amount of energy or effort that I have put in to healing my body has been worth it. Okay. Now, why do I say that? Because I have this post just a few days ago. Okay. That it is like so powerful. I get all these new people. And then I'm on a date with a guy, okay? And we've gone on a couple of dates, and I had already noticed that he had sinus issues, okay? I was like, he never said anything. I just am aware, okay? So I go over to his house. Instantly, I see the NeilMed, all the different things, okay? Like, I see all the things. So in my mind, I'm like, I don't force what I do on people, okay? How I approach it is, I'm like, if people know me and they hear what I do, they will be drawn to work with me, okay? Because I know that I can help them. So And obviously, I was in a dating situation. I'm not there for work, right? Okay, but keep listening. Here we go. So we're talking, and he had some like phlegm or something. So he was like coughing a little bit, and he's like, oh my gosh, I'm so frustrated, blah, blah, blah. So I just kind of like a little bit flippantly put out there that like I healed all of my sinus issues and I could actually help him. Okay. Now, this happens quite frequently for me in the dating world, is that something comes up, and it's actually why I started Hot Chats. And, I'm like, well, I could actually help you if that is something that you're interested in. Okay. Now, one of two things happens. Either I get completely dismissed because, that's a little bit too woo-woo and crazy, and like, how could that actually work? But P.S. there's science. Okay, right? Or there's interest, but the lack of follow through. Literally. I tell him what I do. I tell him, more or less the basis of how it works. And he looks me straight in the eyes and he goes, but does it actually work? Which is such a valid question. Okay, because especially when you've been dealing with chronic issues of the body, it's exhausting. Like, not only are you dealing with your physical issues and pains and all the things, but you're also trying to find answers. And that is exhausting. Like, you're going to doctors, you're trying different supplements or meds, or there's just so much. Okay, so I just want to validate that for you, that it is a lot. And it is hard to be like, okay, I'll try one more thing, right? I get it. I really do. Okay. So I look at him and I say, if you show up wanting it to work and you put in the effort and you actually do what I say and you follow through and you give it the time that it needs, yes, it will work. I can't guarantee it, because I can't guarantee that you're going to do the work or that you're actually going to listen to me and follow through. However, anyone that has worked with me, or those people that have worked with my mentor and the woman that trained me and certified me, if you do the work, it works. Okay. And it is going to be different. It is going to take intentionality. It's not going to be quote unquote easy. It's very simple. Sometimes it doesn't always feel easy. Okay. However, it works. Okay. So I say this to him. I sent him the link. He literally is about to press the button to book with me, and he backs out. Why does he back out? Why do you back out? What is stopping you from choosing in to your next level life? Because what if a few sessions, possibly even just one session, could completely change the trajectory of your life? Okay. Why do I say this? Because let me tell you, well, there's two things that I say to people. A lot of times we will say, oh, I'd pay $1 million to feel better. I would pay $1 million to have my health back. Well, sometimes it actually takes a literal $1 million. Hopefully not a full million, but it literally sometimes takes a chunk of money to feel better. Okay, so by getting to that point of looking, almost doing it, but not pressing the button, you are choosing to stay stuck. You are choosing to not get better. You are choosing to not move forward. Okay, and I get it. There's all sorts of reasons. There's all sorts of excuses. But if you know me and you've worked with me, I don't do well with excuses, because I'm going to call you out on them. Okay, so there's a lot of reasons you don't press the button, and I get it. It is an investment, and I get it that it's scary. However, he's going to go and live for how many more years paying for allergy medicine, nail med. He's going to take time off work. There's going to be, humidifiers. I mean, there's going to be money invested in other ways to prolong the chronic illness, covering up all the symptoms, rather than making an investment in yourself to change things and make things different. Okay, and I'm getting a little passionate about this, because I am really done with people saying they want something different, yet not being willing to actually invest to make their lives different. Okay, because you're going to be investing somewhere. You're going to be investing and doing something. So are you going to keep investing for your same life? And are you going to fight harder to keep things how you want, to stay in your excuses, to stay in your reasons why life is crappy? Or are you going to shift and invest in yourself to actually live a different life? Because here's the thing that people don't always realize. When you have better health, you can actually make more money because you're more aligned, you're more in tune with your body, you're more connected, you feel better, you feel happier. Naturally, more money's going to come. Who knows? Maybe this guy will change his mind. I have no idea. And here's the thing. I'm not going to push him because if someone is pushed into doing this work, it doesn't usually go the best because they're not invested. You do have to be invested, okay? But here's the thing. I have never once regretted investing in myself. And let me tell you, I have invested a ton of money into myself in these ways. But if you look at my life now from 5-6 years ago, it is unrecognizable. Unrecognizable. And I will tell you this, that 5-6 years ago, I could not see a way out. I could not see how things could shift for me to get to where I am today. It felt that dark. It felt that hopeless. I felt that stuck. But I really started investing in myself. And I really said, come hell or high water, I will find this money and I will find a way because I am worth it and I want and need something different and I am willing to do it. I will do whatever it takes because I will not live like this any longer. I am done. And let me tell you, when you get to that point, your life shifts because you're willing to take some risk to invest in yourself. You are willing to find the money. You are willing to do the work. And like I said, when you're willing to do the work, it works. Things shift. And it hasn't been all roses and ponies, okay? I'm not going to lie to you. However, I would not change where I am today. It has been worth every tear that I have shed, every penny that I have invested, every risk that I have taken to be where I am today. And I will continue to invest in myself because I know the benefits of it. And I will continue to do the work to connect with my body so that I stay healthy, so that I catch things before they become anything chronic. And I'm not saying that like my body is perfect or that I'm 100% health free of any health issues. No, I am still working on my body. There are still things that I'm dealing with and I'm making progress and it's getting better. And because of that, I'm able to live the life that I actually want. My hell yes life. Why do you think I teach what I teach, friends? Like, I am so passionate about this because I have lived it. I have been there and I know how to get you out of there. So if you are feeling stuck, if you feel like life is a little bit dark or hopeless, or you're like, I am not even living how I want, I'm not feeling passionate, I am not lit up, I want and need something different, my body hurts, I am in pain, then book a session. And I'm being serious. And I know it's an investment, but it's because we go deep, we go fast, we clear things, we have intention, and the results show up when you do the work. Your money and your hell yes life is out there, and I want to help you find it. So let's find it together. Go book your body mapping session. Let's get you started on your new path so that you can actually live the life that you really want to live. And I love you. If you enjoyed this episode, there are more tips, tricks, and fun ways to bring in money in my weekly newsletter. Sign up and get all the juicy details every single Monday.